Hey folks, welcome to a September 12th, 2023 edition of a Maine Storytime. I'm Mike, I'm a writer for Maine. I used to be a web manager, but we have a much smarter woman who does it for us now. And I'm going to bring you as much news and information as I can without going completely nuts or overboard. In a short time as I can and still be sane. Wanted to try to do this last month, but I just didn't get around to it. Sometimes even with the best of intentions, it just doesn't work out. So I try to do things to the best that I can, and if I can get people to watch, that's great. If you can watch me live, that's wonderful, but I usually don't like to put something up because I never know how I'm going to be feeling, especially if my gastrointestinal disorders. And this is not don't cry for me, this is more why I don't have anything set in stone or scheduled. That being said, there's so much news I can cover, and so much content I can cover that I'm going to do as much as I can today, and then when I can't get through, I'll cover whenever I do another story time. And I like doing these things, so don't feel like it's a problem. And Billy Maine has no issue with me doing these things, so it seems like it's all a good thing. So I'm trying to do as much as I can. There's a lot going on. I'm going to go through some updates going on with what's going on locally. What's that done first? Locally, we had, I didn't get a chance to see it last weekend, Sick Magazine, a large party, September 9th in Waterville. And I know that Seafood is having a conference Tuesday the 19th and the 20th of September. The 19th is 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and the 20th is 8 to 3 p.m. It's $65 for 2 days, $45 for 1 day. Registration closes on the 18th. Number to call is 873-0111. I believe that's going to be in Waterville. The GRM 26th anniversary dinner, which has been postponed since 2020, is going to be happening at the Freeport Hilton Garden. It's a beautiful venue. And the speaker's going to be Shanna Bellows. Shanna's kind of cool because I literally remember telling her after she had her very first run, she announced she was going to run for Mike Reynolds' seat before she did it. I told her I would have voted for her. She's really a super person who does great things, and it's awesome. She's Secretary of State. And it's the 12th, and I would love to go, and my roommate's birthday is 13th. I've been to a Disability Rights Maine event before there, and again, the annual dinners are awesome, and a great part of the disability community, and if you can go. If you can't, you can't. Again, the seafood conference again would be great. It's the 12th and 13th. I'll give you a phone number for more information. I think that might be it. Disability Rights Maine website. I don't have it. I only have it in text format right now. Additionally, there have been a ton of stuff going on with COVID COVID has a bunch of new strains out. It's gotten a lot worse, a lot faster. To give you some background into that, let's look at some notes I have. So our new vaccines on COVID, they were passed yesterday. The FDA did pass them, so you can get new COVID vaccines. I do have information on that as well. The new variants are called, let me get to that just so, actually, yeah, I got that new, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is an FAQ that is posted on the New York Times about the new COVID shot. I'm trying to relay the information as easily as possible. In terms of it, that are easy to understand. There are two new COVID shots, one from Pfizer and one from Moderna. They're both made with using mRNA technology. Last year, less than 20% of Americans got the last booster. And the new COVID booster that just got released can better fight off the latest set of subvariants circulating in the U.S. Here's what to know. So, number one thing is this is a monovalent vaccine which is prepared to go after one variant, which was XBB 1.5, a descendant of Omicron that emerged earlier this year. XBB 1.5 is no longer the dominant circulating variant. Preliminary research has shown that nonetheless does have some protection against the variant EG5. So EG5 is currently the dominant variant. There's also some other variants, such as BA 2.86, which have other variants that are of concern right now. So again, there's two other variants that are really big right now, are XBB 1.5, but more so EG5 and BA 2.86. And a lot of people are saying that the new vaccines provide good protection, and there'll be another shot made against by a company called Novavax, which is protein-based, which means it works similarly as an mRNA vaccine, which might actually help people who have blood disorders, or people like me who just can't have a mRNA vaccine. I have blood. My family has a history of blood disorders, so I can't really do mRNA stuff. Not that I don't do vaccines, I just can't do mRNA ones. Um, the new shots do not include in protection against original virus, but may actually help broaden our protection against new variants. So this could be I'm just saying it's basically a common thing to see the variant use the same preprint studies. Even it was no more effective, but they should be available this week, and within days. You should be able to get them at your doctor's office, local pharmacy, or health department. There are some new vaccines should be free for most people with private public insurance as long as you can get them through a network provider. Those who are uninsured may be able to get COVID shots free at community health centers. Vaccine makers experience donate doses for the uninsured government bridge program, which may also provide access to the vaccines at least through next year or the end of next year. Yes, sometime today, the CDC has set this term eligibility. That's the national CDC, U.S. Sorry. Seems like I believe shots will be authorized for everybody 6 months and up. Rollout may first target those at risk of severe heart disease first, including people 65 and older, as well as those who are immunocompromised or have serious underlying medical conditions. And a lot of people sometimes are getting the flu shot and the COVID shot together, and they're saying that's becoming a thing now. You can still do it with this one. Again, that is helpful. And I'm going to go into a little bit of display history for September. I have some stuff that doesn't seem all that incredibly diverse or interesting, but I have at least one, I have a couple of personal connections to these people. And Fred, actually it's the birthday of Fred Bay today, so that's kind of cool. I'll spend a lot of time talking about that, because I just realized that by looking at my information. So, in terms of radical disability history, on September 1st, 1980, Terry Fox's Marathon of Hope ended in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Terrence Stanley Terry Fox was a Canadian humanitarian athlete and cancer treatment activist. He became famous for the Marathon of Hope across Canada run to raise money for cancer research, which Fox ran with one prosthetic leg. He is considered to be one of Canada's greatest heroes of the 20th century, and is celebrated internationally every September as people participate in a Terry Fox Run, the world's largest one-day fundraiser for cancer research. On September 1st, 1980, his run stopped just northeast of Thunder Bay. Per breathing preventing him from running any further. Terry visited a local hospital where he discovered that cancer had spread to his lungs due to his poor health. Both the return of the cancer and grueling pace of his running. He had to stop his journey across Canada. By this point, he had run for 143 consecutive days, totaling 5,373 kilometers. He returned to British Columbia for further medical treatment. While in the hospital, Terry received a telegram from Four Seasons Hotel executive Isidore Sharp, who recently lost his own son to cancer, telling him that his marathon hope would be continued in his honor with an annual run, and they would not stop until Terry's dream of beating cancer was realized. Today, a life-size bronze statue of Terry Box in motion is located in a memorial park along the Trans-Canada Highway, overlooking the spot where he had to end his run. So, on September 12th, 1944, was when Fred Gray was born. Fred Gray was an incredible disability rights pioneer and activist. At 16, Fred sustained a cervical spinal cord injury and started using a manual wheelchair for mobility. At 17, he started his disability advocacy career by co-founding Opening Doors, a counseling and information center. Bay almost single-handedly made the University of Illinois one of the nation's first wheelchair-accessible universities while he was a student there. A few years later, he was the founder of the Boston Center for Independent Living. He was also the founder of the Massachusetts Coalition for the Center of Disabilities and the American Coalition for Citizens with Disabilities. He was the ACCD's first president from 1934 to 1936. Fay worked for many years at the Tufts New England Medical Center until fibromyalgia made it impossible for him to sit upright. For the past quarter century, Fay worked from his home in Carton, Massachusetts. He was one of the co-founders of the Justice for All email network, and in 1997, when the Henry Betts Award was a critically important and rising to the President Bill Clinton for policy issues relating to disability for many years. And in late 1997, after he won the Betts Award, I actually worked with him on a presentation where I was asked by a national group to bring my computer down because someone said that I was someone that knew enough about computers because I worked on websites and, ran a listserv and stuff. So I literally got asked to do this really kind of quickly, and I co-presented a session for TASH in December '97 with Fred Gray. To be honest, it was probably one of the biggest things I've done as a activist, and it was an honor to be sure. And he was an incredible, nice guy. I remember I actually worked at the insurance company where he had a policy, and he called me up asking me about policy, about personal phone number. I was just like, okay, wait. So I had to go get my manager to help me because it was policy I didn't have any access to. And I just kind of let my manager know who it was and how I knew him. And she kind of chuckled and just helped me out. And we told him there was nothing to worry about. It was a pretty insane and obscure thing. And I was really, I remember, I do have a couple of good, or at least one funny story of, I called him and his wife was like, she's in the hospital, and it was just like, I don't know, feeling like maybe I was just not worthy of talking to him, or maybe he was just bored of me or something. I just said, if he doesn't want to talk to me, you can just tell me that. You don't tell me that he's in the hospital or something. And his wife just like died. She was like, oh my God, to think of you that like I would make that up or something. See, I'm kind of like started laughing. And then I kind of laughed after she told me. She's like, no, he really is in the hospital. So that was kind of cool. And I'm really working at this. And I got worried because I had a slow connection thing, but it just went away, so that's good. So I have a date. That's cool too, because I have a bunch of information on this as well. On September 17th, 2003, adopts Holidays Free Our People Month celebration in Washington, D.C. 120 people with disabilities, mainly through wheelchairs and other mobility aids from across the U.S., began to march in Philadelphia to be joined by additional people in Baltimore to cover the last half of the march to D.C., which culminated with several thousand people gathered for the Free Our People rally on Capitol Hill to demand passage of Mikasa S-931 HR 2032, where no more stolen lives. I was actually at the rally. I had to go through, I think I hung out and I saved for a friend to pick me up and drive me back home so I could make it before hurricane, which kind of makes sense because that's would be about when the hurricane would hit this time. So that's kind of funny. But I was at that rally on the 17th of September, and I do have some of the. Unfortunately, I don't have any of my video because my video got corrupted. I do have photos. And it was an incredible thing. And I'm having some slow, and I'm not going away, so it's good. It was a really great rally, and I have photos, and I'm going to see if I can get those up and put them online somehow, or link them from, I must have a link I can get to you from the Internet Archive that would have that stuff from when I wrote it. I know that actually, I find it, there is actually a Billy Maines connection, because after that rally, it didn't receive much PR, and I wrote an email, and somebody wanted me to rewrite the email and send me some money for it. They were posting on Billy Maine. I was like, I can deal with art, because I don't know, I was just tired or whatever, but it was the first time that someone actually made this statement that I could write for a Billy Maine, so that was kind of cool. And on September 25th, 2004, the United States Squad Rugby team won bronze at the 2004 Paralympic Games. United States Squad Rugby team received bronze medal after beating Great Britain. Americans, who were heavily favored to win, were upset the day before after losing to the Canadian team. The loss was controversial as one of the former settlers. For the U.S. became the coach for Canada. After being cut, the rivalry served as the main storyline in movie Motorball, a film directed by Alex Rubin and Dana Shapiro. And I did actually meet these people. That's actually at one of their first screenings in D.C. of all places. It would, the film would be shown at the 2005 Sundance Film Festival, started a team bidding war, finally being released by Think Films, with major support from MTV. Team captain Mark Reynolds became famous in the film as it hit theaters in summer 2006. During the film, Superman would resolve issues between his friend Corsiga, who was driving drunk and was in a car accident. Causing Superman to be thrown into a ditch filled with water where he struggled for 15 hours and when he got a spinal cord injury. The film was nominated for Best Documentary at the Oscars in 2007, and it lost to March of the Penguins. Superman was on in 2008 and was the champion for the Paralympic team in Beijing. Otherwise than that, it's getting close to 420, which is awesome because that's always a great time. And I forgot, see if any more information I can come up with that might be helpful. Yes. September 13th, 1956. So that's, she turns, her birthday is tomorrow. Jerry Joel was born. Jerry Joel is best known as a cousin Jerry on the NBC sitcom The Facts of Life. She was the first person with disability, CP, cerebral palsy, to have a regular role in a primetime series. She began her career doing stand-up comedy at the Comedy Store in 1978. In 1980, she performed the second annual Media Access Awards, where she was introduced later by producer Fern Fields. After her groundbreaking role on Bax, she appeared on such shows as Great Space Coaster, the Emmy Award-winning movie To Be Kind, Sesame Street, Train with Trump Street, and then the rest was Sean Medicine and the HBO hit series Deadwood. In January of 2009, she was Maine Entertainment alongside dancer Bill Shannon and this held during the inaugural festivities for Barack Obama. That was a really cool event. And afterwards, she actually came as a lesbian in her memoir, Running as Fast as I Can, as straight as I can, 67 tomorrow. Happy birthday, Jerry Joel. And we're having some minor difficulties with our internet stream. I'm trying to figure out what else we should go through today. I do have some things I can probably do. And with I am going to go through a little bit more policy stuff just so we can do things. And I'm doing just was the information I have was, and it's been a while since I've had a actual full Storytime. So, oh, hold on. Before I do that, I did want to talk about. Actually, I think that's. The U.S. poverty rate soared. That's, I'm sorry, I totally missed that. You- And this just came out today. The increase in poverty reversed 2 years of large declines. Median income adjusted for inflation about 2.3% to $74,580. Poverty increased sharply last year in the United States, particularly among children. As living costs rose and federal programs that provided aid to families during the pandemic were allowed to expire. The poverty rate rose to 12.4% in 2022, up from 7.8% in 2021, largest one-year jump on record, Census Bureau said Thursday. Poverty among children more than doubled to 12.4% from a record low of 5.2% the year before. Those figures are according to supplemental poverty measures, which factors in the impact of government assistance in geographic differences in the cost of living. The increase followed 2 years of historically large declines in poverty, driven primarily by safety net programs that were created or expanded during the pandemic. Those included a series of direct payments to households in 2020 and 2021, enhanced unemployment and nutrition benefits, increased rental assistance, and expanded child tax credit, which briefly provided a guaranteed income to families with children. Nearly all those programs had expired by last year, however, leaving many families struggling to stay ahead of rising prices. Despite a strong job market and improving economy, overall poverty looks now with much wage in 2019 with a notable difference that financial hardship has declined among black households, reflecting higher incomes in recent years. One pandemic program that did not inspire was a temporary freeze in Medicaid terminations and move that allowed the program to cover more Americans than ever. Because of that program, a share of Americans dealt health insurance matched a record low last year of 7.9%, with states are widening that temporary coverage, and the uninsured rate probably increased in recent months. The increasing cost of living added to the challenge last year. The poverty threshold, which is based on the cost of essential items like food and housing, rose sharply. A family poor living in a rental home is considered poor. If under the supplemental measures, if this family's income was less than $34,518 in 2022, up from $31,453, or over $3,000 in 1 year, or that's about 10%. Higher prices didn't hit just the poor. Median household income adjusted for inflation fell 2.3% in 2022 to $74,580, as the fastest inflation since 1981, overwhelming impact of increased employment and rising wages. So it's people working hard, they're just not making ends meet. Cost of living is just too much. Right, in particular, so a lot of people that are coming pantry, a food bank in Chicago, like many food banks, had demand explode during the pandemic, and then we're seeing 2021 when people received stimulus checks, enhanced unemployment benefits, and child tax credits. Then those programs lapsed, demand began to climb again in 2022. Test for West, Ms. O'Connor said, we were not expecting, I don't think, any food pantry was really stretching it. The White House in a blog post previewing the report, arguing that the more recent data tell more optimistic story. Information is cooled in recent months, and while the job market has remained strong, and wages continue to rise. And hold on, I just lost the thing. One second. The hot job market has had clear benefits for those able to take advantage of it. Many workers, especially those in low-paying industries like hospitality and retail, experienced significant wage gains in 2022, supersized unemployment benefits and other cash payments allow workers to hold up for higher paying jobs. Income for the poorest 20% of households rose 4.3%. Last year, adjusted for inflation, income gains also outpaced inflation for the least income educated workers. Those impacts were more pronounced for women. The share of working women who were employed full-time for the full year reached 65.6%, the highest level on record, which also allowed real earnings to fall less for women than they did for men. The story was not as rosy as for Americans over 65, for whom poverty level rise rate rose to 14.1%, despite an 8% cost of living increase in Social Security payments. Labor force participation amongst older people remains suppressed as many lost jobs and had a difficult time reentering the workplace. People became more isolated, experienced significantly more health problems. Just more executive director of Maine Council on Aging. And of course, this is New York Times. So we have somebody from Maine being quoted in the New York Times, which is awesome. Older people had a hard time coming out of the pandemic, coming back into community inequity as measured by the gap in pre-tax income between rich and poor 10% household narrows. The most decrease in the median incomes came from the middle and top wage distribution. Racial gaps also shrank as white households lost ground to inflation, while attaching income was little change for other racial and ethnic groups. The official poverty rate in older measure, which is why we consider outdated because it includes many of the government's most important and anti-program poverty programs, among other shortcomings, was nearly flat last year at 11.5%, reflecting the offsetting forces of higher prices and increased earnings of lower wage workers. By that measure, the poverty rate was for Black Americans was 12.4%, the lowest rate on record. There really has been this resurgence in terms of the labor workings of Black workers, particularly Black male workers, says Michelle Holder, an economist at John Jay College in New York. The most important job element for people in my community is, can we get a job? If we can get a job, can we keep a job? Right now, both those things are pretty darn good. But those unable to work full-time, first of all, to purchase higher costs and lost benefits in 2022. Programs that continued this year increased federal nutrition benefits. One of the last best pandemic aid efforts expired last spring, which is true. Factoring the loss of those benefits, real income fell for the poorest households in 2022, and inequity rose. Tight markets are often incredibly powerful, but that are incredibly important but not sufficient, said Elizabeth Jacobs, a senior fellow at Urban Institute. One high-risk pregnancy forced Andrew Summers to leave a job in rural southern Illinois in 2021. The expanded tax credit provided a lifeline. The $250 monthly payments help cover her mortgage and allowed her son down 9 to play Little League Baseball for the first time. It was financial stability and stress relief for her family, but when the payments lapsed at the end of 2021, the family's finances quickly unraveled, especially after Mrs. Summers' husband, Tim, contracted COVID and lost his job as a cook. And while most of them have since returned to work, neither of them have been receiving full-time hours. They are falling further and further behind on their bills. Opportunities for better paying jobs will remain in the area. The child tax credit pulled us out, family out with poverty for such a short period of time. Ms. Summers said, she said, Congress passed the expanded child tax credit as part of the American Rescue Plan. President Biden's pandemic relief package in early 2021, but while other COVID-era relief programs were always intended to expire once the emergency passed, supporters hope to make the expanded tax credit permanent. It didn't happen. Based with the united opposition from congressional Republicans and as well as some conservative Democrats, and that was basically cut off. And basically they're saying that's one of the biggest reasons why the poverty thing went up so much. So again, it's really depressing that child poverty almost doubled last year. It's now a little past 4:30. We've been going for a little bit over 40 minutes, and we're having some issues with our connectivity. So we gotta settle up a day, and hopefully we'll be able to do this again together sometime soon. Thanks for joining us if you call us live. If you catch us on a broadcast after we do these, by all means, leave a thumbs up or a like. And thanks for everything, and have a great rest of your week. This is Mike, and thanks for listening to Storytime.